conference championships in the NFL. We're about to talk about it. So, Gerald, what do you think, man? Should we start by recapping this divisional round? I mean, I know it didn't really go so well for the Ravens, but, you know, we can talk about it.
Man, that divisional round was shit. Whatever. No, it was fun enough. Let's talk about it. I'm just gonna rip the band-aid off because we do have another episode of Charm City Beat coming this week where we will talk more in depth about it. But yes, the Titans dismantled the Ravens 28-12. Yeah, Nigel, I said it. Yep, I said it. They beat us pretty badly. I mean, the Ravens just look flat. I'm not gonna say too much because, like I said, I have a whole episode devoted to it coming up. But yeah, the Ravens lost 28-12. The Chiefs, probably the most impressive and dominating playoff performances I've seen in God knows how long. I mean, bounce back, what was it, a 24-point deficit?
Yeah, it was a huge deficit, and they came back, I believe, scoring 7 straight touchdowns, just coming back huge.
Yeah, 51-31, Chiefs, AFC Championship. And that's going to be a pretty good game. And like I said, we're going to talk about it in a second, Chiefs versus Titans. The way the Titans looked Saturday night against the Ravens and the way the Chiefs played Sunday, that's going to be a really awesome game, actually. I'm excited to watch that. Of course, the Vikings fell to the 49ers, who was surprised because that was at least my pick. I thought the 49ers were definitely going to win that one, 27-10. And Green Bay and Sunday Night Football overcame Seattle 28-23, thus far ruining my chances of seeing Beast Mode play in the Super Bowl again. So thanks, Green Bay. But hey, you guys got Jamal Williams, so you're cool with me. Again, divisional round, pretty good. I think there was a lot of good games. Of course, the one that really disappointed most, so I won't talk about it too much. But again, Pat Mahomes, dare I say the best quarterback in the NFL?
I think you can say it.
At this point, I mean, Brady looks like he's about to end it all.
Because the thing is, we're not just going off of a one-year sample.
No, we're talking. This is 2 years of Pat Mahomes doing Pat Mahomes things, and golly, how many touchdowns did he throw consecutively? It was some record, 5 touchdowns consecutively thrown. Ungodly numbers for a quarterback. And again, another one of those young guns. I mean, this is only his third year in the NFL and second year starting. And each of the 2 years is didn't they make it to the AFC Championship last year?
Yeah.
So
the loss, but
this is familiar ground for this guy.
But this, I think, what is really impressive when you look at a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs is anyone that in the playoffs or the Super Bowl can come back from a 24-point deficit. There's only so many quarterbacks that could possibly pull that off.
Yeah, and I mean, Kansas City's a tough place to play. I mean, we're just going to say, we'll look at it. The Chiefs and the Ravens, at one point, were in the same position, and the difference was the crowd. I was at the game, at the Ravens game. I was there in person, and after the Ravens went down by 2 scores, I mean, the crowd just went flat. It was very kind of sad, actually, to see. But the Chiefs, I was watching the Chiefs game at home, obviously, because I'm not going to Kansas City. But that crowd stayed loud. They stayed intense, and the Chiefs just fed off of that to virtually blow out the Texans, where it looked like the Texans were going to be going to the AFC Championship. But, I mean,
you got to hand it to Chiefs fans. I mean, never doubting their team, even down 24-0. I mean, they never doubted them. They stayed loud, and Patrick Mahomes got them back in it.
Yeah, golly. I mean, it's just I'm speechless. It was such an amazing offensive performance. But, I mean, the way they played, again, I'm not going to count the Titans out. Again, I made the mistake of talking a lot of shit about the Titans. A lot of shit heading up to it. I would have thought the Ravens were going to wax them clean. But, sure enough, Titans showed it. So, again, you got this running back who's built like a middle linebacker taking on arguably the best quarterback in the NFL. It's like 2 offensive powerhouses going at it. I don't know. And Ryan Tannehill, don't count him out either. I mean, the kid's great. I mean, you look at his numbers. I mean, he has a pretty good passer rating. He was able to fly under the radar, I think, because Derrick Henry is just so amazing.
I think Derrick Henry gets overlooked simply off the fact that he's not like...
I don't think he ever will again.
He's not your prototypical like 3-down bell cow kind of back, but he is as good as they come at just running the rock. You know, like
running.
He, you know, such a big guy, power back, but what makes him so great is he's so fast for a big guy.
So I was actually having a conversation at work about him. And it's almost like, you remember, I don't know how many of you guys play, if you play Pee Wee football or not, but like in Little League, you usually give the ball to the best player on the field. Usually you give it to a kid that's probably not going to be easily tackled. That's virtually what they did for Derrick Henry. Nobody's tackling him. I mean, he's bigger than half the defenders out there. He's strong, he runs hard, and he's been doing this for years. He's been doing it in college at Alabama, and he did it in high school just the same. You know, I mean, this is nothing new, but again, I think the Titans getting Ryan Tannehill, sealing up that, you know, that quarterback position, Mariota's out the door. He's gone. As soon as they can unload him, he's gone. And the Titans will be a threat with Mike Vrabel as their head coach for years to come, in my opinion. As long as everybody can stay healthy and they can keep him paid. But we're not going to talk too much about that because we got to break off in the championship weekend. Here's where we find out who's going to the Super Bowl. And like I said, we're going to do something we haven't done in a while. We're going to pick against the spread. And then we're also going to do over-unders. Actually, we're gonna really open up the bank here.
Yeah,
we're gonna
make this a little interesting and add the over-unders to it this time.
Yeah. So we're going to first off with the Titans and the Chiefs. The Titans are going into the game in Kansas City plus 7.5. Based on this spread alone, I'm gonna take the Titans. I think it's gonna be a very close game. I don't think it's gonna be a big a blowout as the Chiefs had against the Texans. Even though the Ravens didn't play up to the standard they have been playing all year, the Titans are still a very good team who have beaten two very good teams in the Patriots and the Ravens now. So it could go either way.
I'm going to agree with you. I think with the spread, I'm going to pick the Titans. Not saying that they're outright going to win this game, but with that spread, I think it makes it easier to pick them. And I just look at the fact that the Titans in the regular season did actually beat the Chiefs. Granted, it was like Patrick Mahomes' first game back off an injury, so I don't know how much you can read into that. But they still did it.
Yeah,
and so, you know, this isn't... I don't see this being the same situation we saw last week, what happened to the Texans ultimately losing by 30 points in a game where they were up huge in the beginning. But I think this is going to stay a little closer throughout the game. I like the Titans to cover that spread.
Yeah, and the over-under for this one is 53 points. I'm definitely going to take under. Like I said, I think this is going to be a very close game. Now, if Pat Mahomes can pick apart that defense of the Titans, that's going to be the decision maker. Now, if that happens, it's going to be way over 53. But I honestly think this game stays close. The Titans will control the clock, keeping Pat Mahomes off the field. Yeah, I'm going under.
I think in order to take the over here, you have to pick the Chiefs, so I'm going to take the under on this one as well.
There you go. So, next up, NFC Championship game. 49ers travel to Green Bay. And right out the gates, the 49ers are just such an impressive team, honestly, in my opinion. Jimmy Garoppolo, I mean, the Patriots are kicking their asses, letting this boy go. And again, the 49ers have an amazing defense, a very solid defense. And the Ravens got to play against, so I got to see it, you know, and they're really good. All season, they have been good. And again, with the NFC, it's not like the AFC where you have, you know, maybe these lower record guys sneaking in. Like, everybody in the NFC seemingly had double-digit wins in the playoffs except for the Eagles.
And when you're looking at this matchup in particular, the 49ers and then Green Bay, what you have to remember is that the Packers did lose pretty badly in the regular season to the 49ers, and Aaron Rodgers looked terrible in that game. Yeah. This was the worst game I've seen him play in a long time. But having said that, what's on our computer screen is actually wrong. It is Green Bay with the plus 7.5 in this game against the 49ers. 49ers, of course, having the home field advantage and all that. And we know what happened in the reverse fixture where the Packers just did terrible. But, Gerald, do you want to go first on this one?
Yeah, I'm going to take, honestly, I'm going to go with the 49ers here. I think, yeah, you know what, I'm going to stick with my guns. I don't think Green Bay's going to have that good of an offensive game, honestly, against this defense. Green Bay, in my opinion, and yes, I'm not discounting Aaron Rodgers in the least bit when I say this, but they haven't been as impressive as they have in years. Like, yes, they have a great record. They have, managed to squeak out some very close games here and there, but I think the 49ers are going to give them problems. The defensive line on the 49ers are pretty stout, and they're all healthy. You have Fred Warner back there flying around, big BYU guy right there. I think this defense in general is going to cause a lot of issues for Aaron Rodgers.
I'll go Green Bay plus 7.5, but I will admit I don't feel great about the pick, knowing what happened in the regular season. What I'm hoping for here is that the Packers would have learned something from that regular season game and can adjust for this game. I think that the Packers certainly do have a path to win the game in the sense that both teams have a strong defense, while you could definitely say the 49ers have the stronger defense. But where the 49ers do have a bit of a vulnerability in their defense is that they're not the best against the rush.
At all.
So Aaron Jones, we know what he can do when he's hot. Maybe that happens for him in this game. We'll see.
We will see. Again, the over-under for this game is 45 points. That doesn't sound wrong. I'll go with that. I'll take it over. Yeah.
You're going to take the over?
I'll take the over.
I'm going to take the under. I think that this is going to be a game where, regardless of which team wins, I think it's going to be lower scoring, even lower scoring than the Titans-Chiefs.
It's possible. But, again, I mean, these are two great games. Again, I would love, under different circumstances it would be great. But I think if I had, like I said, I think it's easily probably going to be a Titans-49ers Super Bowl. It wouldn't surprise me. Again, the Chiefs, as dangerous as they are, they could easily go, but I just don't see Green Bay going to the Super Bowl. That's just my opinion.
Well, and also something we forgot to discuss earlier with the Chiefs is that Kelsey has a lingering hamstring injury, and that could be another factor in that game.
When that is your number one target.
And he had like 3 touchdowns last game.
Yeah.
So if you take that away, if he doesn't play or he's playing hurt,
that comeback doesn't happen. That comeback does not happen at all. But gonna give a game ball. Actually, we're gonna throw it out for 2 guys. Derrick Henry and Pat Mahomes have put on one of the best offensive showings ever. Of course, Pat Mahomes overcoming a 3 to 4 score deficit, and Derrick Henry just turning the Ravens defense into a practice squad. So, on that note, Derrick Henry, Pat Mahomes, you get the game ball. Congrats to you. And we will be back next week when we discuss the Pro Bowl. For once, I have an interest in watching it. Yeah, from there. But that does it for our show. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned.